Assalamualaikum warahmatullah and greetings to all. Thank you for joining this webinar. I would like to welcome the Deputy Dean of Academic, Associate Prof. IR Dr. Ahmad Farid Abidin to be here. And our speaker, of course, Madam Siti Suhaidah and our beloved FKE students. Before we start with this webinar, let us together recite Surah Al-Fatihah to seek blessings and reward from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, insyaAllah. Ameen. Alhamdulillah, with Allah's blessing, we are all gathered here virtually this afternoon for an event titled A Guideline and Systematic Studies on Open Distance Learning, organized by E-Learning Committee, Academic Unit FKE Shah Alam. So before we start, let me brief on the guidelines of this webinar. First, during the running of this session, all microphones must be off. Participants may use chat room to ask questions. Secondly, registration link will be shared at the end of the session. And third, this webinar will be recorded and the video link will be shared to all participants later. Now, before we start, next I would like to invite our Deputy Dean, Associate Prof. IR Dr. Ahmad Farid Abidin to address his welcoming remarks.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good afternoon. Thank you, Moderator. Associate Professor Engineer Teknologi Dr. Norfishah Wahab, also as a chair for E-Learning Committee under Fakulti of Elektrik Engineering, UITM Shah Alam, and also our guest speaker today, Madam Siti Suhaidah Sahab. First and foremost, I would like to express gratitude and thank you to our guest speaker for giving her time to share her expertise and as well as her experience on conducting or how we are going to embrace the ODL throughout the semesters. And actually, this program is coming from the aspiration from our students who are suggesting to us to conduct or to find a way, what is the tip and what is the way or the method to ease their learning style on ODL. So actually it's coming from student. So we are only having or doing or conducting this activity as a moderator or as what we call it as a platform for the student to get some idea and in order to help them in better understanding, better following the ODL. And we really hope that the student can grab the opportunity and ask as many as questions to our expert or our speaker today. So it's our opportunity for all of you, okay, my fellow students. I guess I don't want to talk long because I have activity or event with UITM Penang. So with that, enjoy this event. And again, I would like to thank so much to our speaker for giving her time to share her experience and expertise during this or throughout this platform. Okay, I give back to our moderator, Associate Professor Engineer Teknologi Dr. Norfishah. Okay, Dr. Norfishah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Associate Prof. IR Dr. Ahmad Farid, for that address. Okay, listen, student, what our Deputy Dean has said just now. Ask question. Okay, listen to this presentation from our speaker, and of course, by now you are motivated and prepared for the next Committe agenda with all ears. So now I would like to introduce our speaker today, Madam Siti Suhaidah Sahab from Institute of Continuing Education and Professional Studies, ISET, UITM. So let me go on her background. She is an expert in e-learning, massive open online course or MOOC. She's also expert in e-content development, curriculum design, multimedia design, and so on. And she is also qualified as a certified e-learning trainer, Institute of Neo Education UITM, certified iSpring trainer UITM, Master Trainer E-Learning University UITM, and Master Trainer MOOC UITM. So she is we get the right person to be here to share all this information with us. So we believe that you have an expert to talk about guidelines and systematic studies on ODL. So dear students, grab as much information from this presentation, learn and relearn, and do ask questions. So we were going to have a Q&A session after the presentation, right? So now, without further ado, I would like to invite Madam Siti Suhaidah to give her presentation. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So again, thank you so much for inviting me. And to be honest, I'm not that an expert, no. It's just that I've been dwelling with e-learning for quite some times. To be exact, starting from 2011, all right, up until today. And then I'm currently the head of unit for online learning and also fellow, right? Fellow for Massive Open Online Course CIDL. So technically, all of the things with regards to e-learning is under my division, right? So the topic that we are going to talk about today is guideline and systematic studies making ODL works, right? So I do understand starting last semester, we've been, I consider the word thrown, right? We have thrown into ODL. It's new. ODL is actually not new. It's been there for quite a long time, but it is new to us because why? We are so used to face-to-face, a physical class, right? Where you're going to see your lecturer, go to class, and then conduct all your teaching and learning in one area, right? However, since the pandemic, so we have to change the way we conduct things, especially teaching and learning, right? So we have to opt for open distance learning, right? Now, I was informed that the participants today, prices of semester 1 till semester 5. So semester 1, this is new for you. But semester 5 students, 4 or 5 onwards, this is actually not new, but maybe something that I experienced the last semester. And what I'm going to share with you is not necessarily me teaching you how to do things, just me sharing with you things that can work. And I hope that you can implement it in this semester's ODL experience, all right? All right, so I'm going to go straight to the tips and tricks in making ODL works, right? Now, in all honesty, actually ODL and physical class, there's not much difference. Not much difference in the sense that you're still going to conduct your teaching and learning. The only difference is that as opposed to being physically in front of your lecturer, you're going to be in basically your own home, comfort of your own home, or in any places that you deem fit for you to study. All right, so let's go straight to the first thing. When you talk about ODL, or not necessarily ODL, like a course, right? So the first thing that you need to do is you have to be aware of the learning outcomes. Now, most students are not aware on what exactly is the learning outcomes, right? Learning outcomes is basically at the end of each course, you have a certain outcomes that you have to achieve, right? So you have to be aware of what exactly is the learning outcome for each course that you took for that particular semester, not took, like take for that particular semester. So learning outcome actually can be divided into two. We have the course learning outcomes and the topic learning outcomes. Right, so the course learning outcomes, basically at the end of the 14 weeks of lecture, those are the outcomes that you're going to achieve, right? And the topic learning outcomes is basically the outcome for each lesson, right? So first thing that you need to do, especially for ODLs, is you are the one to dictate the flow and the pace of your teaching and learning. So the first thing that you need to do is you have to understand what are the learning outcomes for each course that you actually take for this particular semester. Right, so this learning outcome, usually lecturers will, outcomes. Usually for learning outcomes, the lecturer is going to inform you, all right, early in the semester. But let's say if you tiba-tiba slip out of your mind, you don't remember what are the topic learning outcomes or the course learning outcome, go to UFuture, and then when you log into UFuture, you click on the course, you can see the course summary. Yeah. Ada soalan kau? You can see the course summary. So in the course summary, there is the course learning outcome. So please be aware on the course learning outcome, and each and every time you finish up a lesson, please measure yourself. All right, because the thing about ODL is that there's no lecturer to remind you each and every time. So sebab kalau you datang kelas, when you enter the when you have a physical class, the lecturer is going to inform you, and from time to time, they're going to ask you questions to test your understanding. But for ODL, you yourself have to test your own understanding on the subject matter. So therefore, it is very important for you to determine to know the course learning outcome and also the topic learning outcomes, right? So first thing first, before you embark in ODL journey, list down, right? So let's say this semester you have four courses that you have to take. So all 4 courses, identify the course learning outcome. So each and every time you finish up a lesson, so measure your understanding, right? Measure yourself whether have you achieved those outcomes. If you do, then Alhamdulillah, insyaAllah, you'll be good to go. Sebab nanti dalam final exam tu mudah sikit lah. Okay, so that's the first thing. Course learning outcomes, you have to know that. Okay, number 2. This is very important. As I mentioned earlier, for ODL, it's more self-paced. Self-paced meaning that you dictate what is going on in your life. You are the one that is going to determine the flow of your studies. You yourself is going to do that. So there's no design, no designated class lah. There's nobody is actually going to push you and determine what is going on with you. So you will be the one to determine what is going on with your life. Right? The life here referring to your study. So number 2, get prepared and make a plan. Right? So this is very important. Regardless whether ODL or physical class, you still have to plan your study. So I am sure all lecturers have given you the lecture plan, right? I'm sure all of you already have the lecture plan with you. So include the lecture plan and prepare what we call your study calendar. Your study calendar comprises of all of the courses that you have to take for that particular semester. And in your course calendar or your study calendar, you should include the following, right? Your class schedule, obviously, because some lecturers, they like to conduct their class on the day itself, where you will have, like, for example, in this case, you have a webinar, all right? So include the session in your study calendar. If you have assignments, so I'm sure you already have the assignment deadlines with you, so include your assignment deadlines in your calendar as well. And this is very important, you have to allocate your study time, right? Study time is the time that you yourself determine when you're going to do it, right? And then don't forget other important dates as well, birthdays, anniversaries kalau ada, so masukkan dalam tu ya. And most important part, relaxation time. Now, last semester, I do receive a lot of feedbacks from students that mentioned we don't have time for ourselves. We've been in front of the PC, the computer for 24 hours, and we feel burn out. Student kata dia burn out, penat sangat duduk dekat PC 24 jam, tak boleh gerak. Kata family marah lagi, kenapa you tak pergi mana-mana, I mean, you don't do anything. Now, the reason why that happened is because we don't have that schedule, right? So in ODL, the most important part is you have to plan what is going on and what you're going to do for each day, for each week, and each month, right? By doing so, right, you have time for relaxation, you have time for your family, you don't feel like too burnt out in front of your PC, right? So in order for you to prepare your schedule, these are the tips which I found very helpful to me, myself, masa I belajar. Dalam juga I belajar, tapi I can share with you. 1, find your most productive time, right? Be it 3 in the morning or early in the morning, let's say at 8, you get that 8 a.m. is the best time for me to study, right? Then let it be, so masukkan dalam your calendar. So some students get, oh, actually my productive time is 12 midnight onwards, alright? Then study during 12 midnight onwards. So this particular study time, actually by referring to your productive time. So by your class schedule, you have no say on this. Why? Because all students will be equipped with your timetable. So you have to follow your timetable accordingly, right? Your study time must be referring to this, your productive time, right? So during my time, my productive time is from 3 a.m. onwards, right? So saya akan start study pukul 3 pagi dan saya akan habis study pukul 11 pagi. So that is my study time, right? So yours might be different from mine, so you yourself dictate when exactly the right time for you to study. Alright, and for ODL, the most important part is you have to create a routine. ODL ni different sikit dalam kelas physical. Because physical class, basically, you don't realize this, you don't realize, but actually you have a routine. Bangun pagi, you go to class, you habis kelas tengah hari, you go back, makan tengah hari, and then you come back, sambung kelas lagi. So actually it's a routine. Every day you're doing the same thing. But for ODL, you have to create your own routine, right? So here, I found that very helpful for ODL if you have this routine. Okay, bangun pagi, right, next, lepas mandi dan sebagainya, you sit down, you proceed with your class schedule, right, and then what to do? You have a study time. So you allocate, let's say, from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that is your study time. And you make it as a routine. Every day is the same thing. Let's say on Saturday, Sunday, you kata, oh, that one is my relaxation time. So I'm not going to do anything on that day. PE. It's your schedule. You determine what is going on with you, right? And then, most important part, yang ni saya selalu dapat feedback daripada student, family tak faham apa yang saya buat. Dia kata, saya asyik main phone je. Right? Why? Because they don't know what you're doing, right? So display your study calendar. Once you prepare your study calendar, display it, template tampal dekat dinding ke, so that your family can see, right? And then bila dia tengok, okay, ada kelas, and then nampak depan PC. So you can see that, oh, my student, my son or my daughter is having a class, right? So display it. Now, once you display it, then you can seek support from your family. Because your family understand what you are going through. This one pun banyak juga saya dapat feedback dari student. Family tak support I. Dia ingatkan I duduk dalam bilik tak buat apa-apa. So, asyik suruh saya buat kerja rumah saja. I have things, I have class, I have to do work, right? But I cakap, did you tell your family what is going on, what is happening with you? Jawapannya tidak. So that's why it is very important for you to display your study calendar and seek support from your family. Saya faham ada yang certain family is very understanding the issue. Certain family, they don't understand what is going on. I do know that. I am aware of it. But if that is the case, please, right? Please inform your penasihat academic, right? Inform your penasihat academic. This is what's going on with me. Right? Inform them so that they can do something about it, right? Yeah. Okay. Right. Number 3 tips. The third tips. Actually, I tak rasa kita akan buat session ni sampai pukul 4. So the third tip is create your ideal study space. Right. So study space is very, very, very important. Right. Now, why? Because study space actually, one, it gives you a sense of what we call the Zen area, right? So this is my area where I'm going to study. So once you enter that study area, you know your focus is on studying, right? Nothing else. So that's why creating an ideal study space, it is very, very important. Now, let me share with you. These are some of the tips that I have found, right? Very helpful when creating a study space. One, right? Find a spot and stick to it, right? Find a spot and stick to it. So let's say, kata, alamak, rumah saya kecil, tak besar sangat. So adik-adik ramai. So I cannot find a spot for myself. Tak jumpa. So try to, maneuver around. I think you should know better what is going on with your family and the way your family works. So there must be sometimes or some area of your house that your family tak kacau, adik-adik tak kacau. So use that spot, right? Use that spot and prepare whatever things that is required. For example, a desk, a lamp, those areas, right? And stick to that particular spot. So once you masuk je that area, that study area, so you know that you have mindset are ready for studying, right? But occasionally, rotate to passport. Occasionally, example in my case, to be honest here, I call you identity. To be honest, lecturers and students, we are in the same boat, sama. Boat yang sama. Why? Kenapa I kata boat yang sama? You guys are studying and we, the lecturers, are preparing materials for you to study. Right? So sama je. So from time to time, I will change my study area. So this is currently I'm in my study area, but occasionally I'm going to change it dekat ruang tamu ke, dekat bilik lagi sebelah ke, right? So from time occasionally, change your studies. All right. So number 2, recreate your environment. So environment here referring to your classroom environment, right? Try to recreate your classroom environment so that in psychology, you're already so last year, so you dah ready. So this is an area for you to study. So that's why it's very important for you to recreate that study environment. Kenapa I kata recreate? Sebab sometimes student, I pernah buat kelas kan, early in the morning. Student I terlupa nak switch off dia punya camera. So dia tengah baring dekat pillar. So I macam, saya kan kejut juga. But the thing I would like to emphasize here is, dalam kelas mana kita baring-baring kan. So that's why you have to create try to mimic your classroom. Try to mimic a classroom. Ada proper desk, ada kerusi, sit down for you to concentrate on your study. Right. Number 3, have a place to store all your study materials for easy access. Right. So this one, I know it might sound like takkanlah macam kita boleh ada semua benda ni. Sukar juga, right? But here, I would like to emphasize, when you're studying, it is best for you to place all of your materials around your study area. So it is easier for you to reach it and then concentrate on your study. Tak adalah you lari pergi tempat lain. Because if you terpaksa lari tempat lain, then your concentration akan lari juga. Because in ODL, the most important part is you have to make sure that you concentrate on what you are trying to achieve. So in this case, what you are trying to achieve is studying and understanding the subject matter. Alright, number 4, get comfortable. Yes, you have to. Because if you're not comfortable, you cannot concentrate. But too comfortable. Sebab kenapa I kata not too comfortable? Study dekat atas katil sambil baring. Too comfortable, bantal busuk kat sebelah, confirm hanya tu. Right? So that's why get comfortable, proper, a bit comfortable attire, right? But not too comfortable to the extent that it might derail you from the path that you are going to. Right? Number 5, pay attention to the lighting. You guys student FKE kan? So, mesti tahu pasal lighting sedikit. So, pay attention on the lighting. Lighting plays a very, very important role in studying, especially in ODL. Why? Because you are going to look at the PC for quite a long period of time. So it's very important for you to have proper lighting, not too bright, not too dim, just the right amount of lighting. So as FKE student, cuba try buat research sikit pasal ni benda ni. Lighting yang macam mana yang paling sesuai yang boleh buat student concentrate better. Actually, there is a study, right? Tapi I tak ingat study mana. So, lepas ni FKE students pula yang buat study on lighting, ya. Alright. Try to swap music. Yes, some students, they thrive and they can concentrate with loud music, right? Boleh. But some cannot. Because why? For in my case, personally, I cannot study with music because I have the tendency to sing along, right? To sing along with the music, although I don't have a good voice, but I still want to sing it. Why? Because it will be playing right around me and it will be stuck in my head, so I have to sing it out loud. And when I do that, I cannot concentrate on what I am trying to do, which is to study, right? So that's why I usually swap music with ambient noises or white noise. Sebab ada student kata, Wan, saya nak buat tapi tak boleh. Sebab dah belakang tu background adik-adik saya tengah bekerja-kerja berlari-lari dia. Macam mana? Okay, wear your headphones, go into your zone and concentrate on what you're trying to do. Okay. Right. 7, get some plants if you can, but if you're like me, not a green thumb, so don't do this, right? Don't get some plants, biarkan saja, biarkan pokok-pokok di luar sana, right? Make sure you bring something that you can, sometimes you get, when you're studying, right, you tengah belajar, at one point you might get like very frustrated, maybe you don't understand the subject matter, you got very frustrated with your friends, you got frustrated with yourself, channel those anger to something else, right? So get something, right, on your desk that can, make you more into your zone. Ada setengah orang kata plant is good. Nama setengah orang kata study says plant is good. But if you tak boleh, then go for something else. Right? In my case, I must have snacks. Right? My case. So that's why I'm very good at. So I have snacks. So once I press ke apa, grab the snack and makan sikit and then continue. Right? And then try to get rid of distractions. Satu, your phone. Your phone is, I can't diam. Sebab kenapa? It is, yes, very distracting. Because we have the tendency, right, to look at our phones. So try for one day, you just mute your phone or put it somewhere else, concentrate on what you are doing, studying first, and then baru you buka lah your phone. And most important part yang paling, the elephant in the room is the internet itself. Now, I do understand. Some students kata, Puan, we need internet to study. Betul, you do need internet to study. But do you need the internet to study for every single thing? Actually, no. For example, you have a topic that you have to study. I guna kata study kat sini lah, ya. A topic that you have to study. Yes, you go through the materials. Let's say it is in your future. You buka, right? You go through the materials and then you do your research. Right? Research, then you have to, Google it and then find it out, right? Go to whatever videos, other videos that you have to look into. Yes. But then after that, you don't need the internet, right? You have to concentrate on the materials that you have gathered. Itu sahaja. Because once you dah buka all those multiple tabs, then you dah masuk dalam rabbit hole. Kan tiba-tiba pula cat picture keluar pula, all the cat videos, all those distracting things, try to avoid that, right? And then after you finish your studying, let's say one day you kata, okay, I'm going to study from 8, my class starts at 8 and then ends at, let's say, 2, right? And then I'm going to take a break. Lepas tu pukul 8 sampai pukul 10, I'm going to study the materials. So after 10, please clock out, right? Get out of your zone, clean your space, and then you proceed dengan your own life. Macam tu. Sebab bila in ODL, dia jadi the most, I kata, the enemy lah. Your enemy is distraction, right? So once you habis je whatever belajar, you clock out, clean your space. So it's the next day, it's a clean slate, new, right? So tak ada lagi distraction yang menghantui. Okay, so ideal study place. I would say it's ideal. So from time to time, you're still going to improve your study space lah. Personally, for me, right, saya tak ada study space yang sangat-sangat perfect. Tak, there's no such thing as a perfect study space. There's none. Right? It is what we call a work in progress. From time to time, you're going to add into things. You find new things that make you happy. You include it in your study space, right? Okay. Alright, sampai sini. Is there any question? Ada soalan?
Setakat ni tak ada. Tak ada.
Okay. Alas, sucinya korang. Okay, for your information, I'm actually from the Faculty of Architecture, Planning and Surveying. Saya daripada FSU sebenarnya. Right? But at the same time, I'm currently in ISAT. So I belah dua kerja. Okay, so that's why when we talk about ODL ni, insyaAllah I can understand because currently pun I'm facing the same thing as what you are facing. Try to membelah badan dalam dua. Satu ke sana, satu ke sini. Alright. Okay. Right, so next tips, right? Get familiar with your course pages, right? So course pages here, I'm actually referring to the platforms, your learning platforms, right? Now, let's look into the learning platform. So first thing, you have to know what platform that will be used for your teaching and learning, right? So I'm sure your lecturers are already informed you. Awal-awal semester, dia akan kata which platform dia akan guna. Is it YouFuture ke? Nak guna Google Classroom ke? Nak guna Microsoft Teams ke? So first thing first, understand, know what your lecturers, what the platform that your lecturers is going to use. That one kena tahu. Because why? Now, after you know your platform, you have to make sure that if you haven't signed up, you have to sign up first. Sebab nanti kau tak ketinggalan. For example, kalau YouFuture, there's no issue lah because all students automatically boleh sign up, right? For Microsoft Teams, you will have an account. But let's say kata, alamak, my account ada problem, then you have to make sure that you get the account first. Google Classroom, insyaAllah tak ada issue juga. Most of you guys have Google accounts, right? Cumanya, I would like to emphasize here, for classroom purposes lah, I would advise if you have like Google account yang lama-lama, macam dulu zaman-zaman saya belajar dulu, I letak nama Su_Cipuding. Why? Because Cipuding is my cat's name. So I letak nama macam tu. So in your class, I would advise you to have a proper email address using your name, your full name. So it might make it easier for the lecturers to find you. Itu satu hal. Because I have classes where my students use their nicknames and their email address macam pelbagai jenis. So it's actually quite difficult for me to determine ni siapa pula budak ni. Tak jumpa. So that's why I would advise guna full name and create a new email. Right? Now, okay, find out the platform, very important. And if you have to sign up, right? Sometimes not only the platform, some lecturers, they will use different applications. Contoh, in my case, I use Trello, and I also use Padlet, right? So I will ask my student to have a Padlet account and also a Trello account. Why? Because I'm going to place my teaching and learning materials there, and I will ask my students to submit their work there, right? Same goes to your lecturer. So let's say you kata, okay, there are certain things yang I kena buat. Ask your lecturer what are the platform and what are the applications that will be used for teaching and learning. I am sure your lecturers will be more than willing to share with you. Tak pernah lagi jumpa pensyarah yang kata, cuba teka apa yang saya nak kata nanti. Cuba teka which platform, tak ada ya. So please ask your lecturer what are the platforms, what are the applications. So if it requires you to sign up, make sure you have an account. Right, so make sure you have an account so that you can proceed with your teaching and learning. Alright, then the most important part, dah ada account, jangan biarkan je. Make sure you log in often, check out, check on and participate any discussions. Yang ni pun you have to highlight ya. Students kata masuk ODL ni tak best sangat sebab we cannot interact with each other. Right, dia kata macam tu, cannot interact with each other. But how come when you open up Facebook, you open up your Instagram, you can actually communicate with each other via social media. So how about you treat your teaching and learning platform like your personal social media, right? In education purposes, right? So let's say if your lecturer provide, let's say, a question or a topic, right? A topic. And then how about you make a discussion on your own? Cuba try to shout out to your friends. Okay, contohlah. Kata, Iska, do you understand this part? Contoh. Right? Jadi Alif pun kata, betul lah Iska, what you are trying to say is correct. Macam tu. So basically, you have those discussion and you create that learning environment online. Sebab usually what happen, dalam kelas saya juga, when I use Future and other platforms as well, so we have the comment section at the bottom, right? So after I provide the teaching and learning materials, tapi dalam comment section cuba teka, student tulis apa? Rasanya student tulis apa? Cuba check sikit kat situ. I bagi materials, lepas tu bawah tak ada comment section, you rasa apa student tulis kat dalam comment section?
Noted, madam.
Kan? Noted. Thank you. Seorang thank you 10, 100. Kalau ada 200 student, 200 thank you. Bukannya tak bersyukur, saya bersyukur. Kalau boleh saya nak jawab, welcome. Tapi that is not the comment section all about. So the comment section is for you to discuss on what you have learned in the topic, right? So dah tengok video tu, okay, I dah faham semua ni, ada part yang tak faham. How about you pose a question there? You start, pose a question. Tengok kawan you jawab macam mana. Tak ada orang jawab, panggil kawan you jawabkan sekali. So by doing so, you create that environment, the teaching and learning environment. Yang tu sebenarnya kita nak. Bukan nak kata letak thank you. Boleh nak letak, tapi once orang letak, memang confirm semua orang akan letak. So at the end of the day, it defeats the purpose of having a comment section. Macam tu. Right? So, adik-adik sayang, make sure If you have a discussion, participate in it. But if tak ada orang yang start the discussion, you start the discussion. How about you start the discussion and see how it goes, right? And then check for announcement and updates. Yes, this is very important. From time to time, mesti lecturers you bagi announcement. Be aware of the announcement. And some lecturers, they use WhatsApp for announcement, right? Ada setengah, macam in my case, I use WhatsApp. And at the same time, my teaching and learning materials is in the future. So I will give WhatsApp announcement, and then I will ask my students to go to your future and do their whatever teaching and learning activities then, right? So satu je adik-adik, I do know and I am aware of it. So when ODL, you will have multiple WhatsApp group. Banyak sangat. Betul. If you have 10 courses, you will have 10 WhatsApp group for each course. Macam tu. And then if that is the case, once the lecturer je bagi post dia punya WhatsApp, right? Any announcement dekat WhatsApp, make sure you terus starkan. Sebab WhatsApp you boleh starkan, you starkan terus dia punya dia punya announcement tu. If not, nanti bila bila lecturer bagi je announcement, nanti kat bawah tu semua noted, dah dia pun dah tak noted. So that's why once you dah buka je, dapat je WhatsApp, terus starkan. So it will be saved into the start messages. So from time to time, you want to check it out, you check the list. Right? I do have experience where I actually trace my student. I am the kind of lecturer yang jenis suka cari student tu. Kalau student saya hilang, saya cari dia. Right? And last semester, there are a couple of students yang hilang. Hilang that for 2 weeks tu, I tak nampak dia punya progress. So what I did, I contact the students and ask them, okay, what is going on? What happened to you? I'm not aware on the announcement that I did, right? So jawapan dia adalah, one, saya ada banyak sangat WhatsApp group, saya tak mampu nak baca sendiri. So mak terkejut ya. So I was like, oh, okay. Kalau as a student, so you know that that is an official WhatsApp group. If I give you an instruction there, you have to read it. You tak ada alasan untuk buat banyak sangat WhatsApp group. Saya tak boleh nak baca. You still have to. It is your responsibility. Alright? Boleh ya? Okay. So, and then, try to review your course materials from time to time. So, I'm sure your lecturer is going to update your, the course materials. So, buka, tengok if there are any new materials that you can go to. Right? So, this one. So, most important part, please know the platform. If you have to sign up, make sure you sign up, right? And you have to log in often. So login ni pun boleh masukkan dalam schedule, right? Kata, okay, every day I'm going to log in from, let's say, from 8 till 10. Contoh 8 pagi sampai 10 pagi. So that is my time dekat platform ni. So you buatlah all the activities there. And then the next day you buka balik from 8. So you have that routine, right? Okay. Next. So, discover your learning style. Okay. In the physical class, you don't have this option. In physical class, you don't have this option. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. So, lecturer duduk depan, you can just slide there, slide, and then they check out. So, you have to listen, you have to take note. But for ODL, you have this option. You have the power to determine the type of learning style that you want and learning style that is suitable to you, right? So learning style, technically ada 4, ada 4. Kita ada visual, right? We have auditory, okay? We have the reading and writing and kinesthetic. So tak silap saya, FKE ada pensyarah yang buat study on this, and I think she already prepared a questionnaire on learning style. So how about you try it out? So because why? Learning and knowing your learning style can actually help you to get the best of your studies, right? Because some students is more visual, all right? In the sense that you can nampak all the slides, you can watch the video, and understand. Certain students tak perlu. They just auditory. Buka je video, they can do something else, but they just hear, right? Whatever things that is in the video. Right? Itu pun yang membantu dia. Some students tidak. They prefer reading materials. They have to read the materials for them to better understand. And some students, dia jenis yang suka buat something, get started, right? So that's why it's very important for you to identify and determine the learning styles, which the goal style that works for you best, right? So here I've shared with you these two links. Boleh buka lah, you can try it out sama-sama dengan link, right? One from arden.ac.uk and another one bartlearn.com. So you can try it out, identify your learning style and work towards, making it happen. Okay. So have you guys tried identify your learning style ke? Ada yang dah tahu dah jenis learning style yang macam mana? Ke tak ada?
Tak sure.
Tak sure.
Tak ada.
Okay. Nanti boleh
pasti.
cuba. Tak pasti.
Dah ada.
Oh, dah. Okay. So in my case, kalau sampai perasan lah, in my case, I'm a visual learner. I like things yang cantik. Kalau tengok my slide pun semua macam ni. My student pun tahu. Once kalau dia punya slide, dia over. Right? Okay. So this is my learning style. Yeah? So determine yours and then that will help you to, plan your study better. Right? Nampak macam mundane kata Ellen. Tak tahu pun sama juga. Boleh je study. Boleh, but it is not as efficient and effective. So if you know this, then you can map and create your own plan. So, and then one more thing, it is best if you are able to determine and identify kawan-kawan you yang learning style dia sama. Contoh Muzamil, kita ada tadi contoh Muzamil, Arif, Aiman. So diorang 3 orang ni adalah learning style yang sama. So why not you buat your own study group? So nanti you boleh share your materials yang sama, it will help each other. Right? So cuba. Okay. Right, now next most important part is set your study goals, right? So kalau masa belajar dulu, masa sekolah you dah tahu dah ikut setiap kali kelas pasal counselling seperti yang sama, you have to set your study goal same. It is the same. So same goals, masa dekat belajar di university, you have to set your goals. So goals, I keep my goals SMART, right? And I think most of you already know this. SMART meaning that the goal must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time frame, right? Specific meaning that, let's say, this is an example, yeah? So for this week 3, I'm going to complete chapter 2. Saya akan belajar chapter 2. So that is my goal for this week. So I have specific. Jangan kata, oh, this week I'm going to study this course. Contoh, right? I'm going to study construction law. Sebab I ajar construction law kan. So I nak study construction law je. So it's very ambiguous which part of construction law you nak belajar. So that's why you must be very specific on what you are going to achieve on that week. Number 2, dah tahu dah nak kata, okay, I'm going to study chapter 2, and then it must be measurable. So you nak tahu, okay, nak tahu sama ada what I'm doing is correct or not, what I'm doing is achieved or not. So let's say I said, okay, chapter 2, Puan Su bagi ada activity. Now I said I have to submit the activity by Friday at 1. So you set yourself, you determine. Alright? So by doing so, bila you submit the activity 1 by Friday at 1 tu, you know that, okay, my goal is achieved. So dah tahu. Right? Kalau kita dah, goal kita dah achieve, for sure kita akan rasa gembira kan? So it will motivate you to work, even better. Right? Number 3, it must be achievable. So again, action oriented. Set your goal. What exactly do you want? Contoh, chapter 2, I have to read page 1 till page 40. So I kata, okay, this week I'm going to read page 1 till page 40. Habis di page 40, you know that the goal has been achieved, right? And it must be relevant, doable. Janganlah kata tinggi sangat, right? Expectation you pun tahu you cannot achieve that, right? So nanti tak sampai rasa demotivated, tak semangat lagi nak teruskan, right? And then it must be time frame. You have to set your own deadline. Right? So that's why in your schedule nanti, right, make sure you set your date. Okay, this week I belajar chapter berapa. What is your objective? What is your goal? when I'm going to achieve that goal. So by having that, so you boleh track your progress better. Alright? Sebab satu je adik-adik, ODL ni kita pensyarah sukar untuk nak contact by one student who sukar. Right? So you yourself has to determine what is your goal, when you want to achieve it, how you want to achieve it. Right? Tapi make sure it is smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and also time-bound or time-frame. Okay, next. Right, review your work regularly. Like review. Ini satu hal juga ni. Because usually what happens is if the lecturer gives you an exercise or a task that you have to do for that particular week, so once you complete that task and that's it, habis dah. Tak tengok lagi dah. Ataupun, let's say if you have a class, right, on let's say Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So that is your class. So you sit in front of your laptop, you watch the lecturer's video, or let's say you have a webinar session like this, you dengar je sampai habis and that's it, habis dah. Tutup buku. Tutup laptop, habis. But in ODL, same goes lah for ODL saja, in your class as well. So you have to regularly check yourself. So I would like to share with you, this is what we call the curve of forgetting. Bukan the study curve, the curve of forgetting. Untuk lupa, right? So this is what usually happens. So on day one, so let's say you start off 0. This is actually your retention, right? The amount of information that you receive, and this would be the number of days. So let's say you started from 0. Dapat tahu, okay, this week we are going to learn about chapter 3. You didn't go through the videos, you masuk kosong. You didn't know anything. So you masuk sahaja. Dia Kamarul. Okay, so you masuk saja with 0, right? On day 1, right? You belajar, you tengok video, you listen to your lecturer's punya lecture. On day 1, your retention is 100%. Right? So dapat 100%. You dengar ke, tak dengar ke, you dengar sikit-sikit ke, you consider as 100% retention. Right? But if you don't do anything, meaning that once you habis saja 100% belajar, you don't do anything, you don't even open the topic again, study balik semula, on day 2, retention to jatuh. Right? So it will decrease up to 50 to 80%. Alright? 50 to 80% of what you have learned akan gone, hilang. Day 2. By day 7 or by day 30, ada tinggal 2 to 3% je tinggal. So day 7 and day 30, so tinggal retention you 3% je tinggal. Right? So that's why we call it as a curve of forgetting. Daripada you ingat 100%, but if you don't do anything, you don't revisit the materials, dia akan jadi sana 2 to 3%. Lepas tu tiba-tiba kat sini ada test. Dah menggagal. Right? So that's why it is very important for you to apply this. Ini formula. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Ada 4 kali 1. Right? Apply this method. 1 ni referring to 1 hour after the lesson. Right? You revisit the topic again. And then plus 1 day after the lesson, you revisit balik. Another one is 1 week after the lesson, tengok balik. And 1 month after the lesson. So let's say after the first day, dah habis je study, allocate 10 minutes on day 2 to revisit the topic. Tengok balik. Nota, you jot down the notes, check balik notes, allocate 10 minutes, right? So by allocating 10 minutes, you actually elevate sampai nak dekat 100 jugalah attention span, right? And then day 7, the first week, you allocate about 5 minutes to revisit balik the same topic, right? So 5 minutes, dia akan naik balik. And then dia turun balik on day 30, which is 1 month after, you allocate about 2 to 4 minutes to revisit the topic. InsyaAllah, by doing this, right, the information yang you belajar will retain. Sebab our brain ni works macam dia masuk, if you don't do anything, nanti dia akan sorok kat belakang, simpan. Biasanya apa yang berlaku adalah at the end, dekat-dekat exam atau dekat-dekat test, masa itulah kita gerah kepala otak kita tu untuk study. Itu yang rasa macam burn out tu. Bila nak masuk exam, tiba-tiba kawan bersin kat sebelah, tidak ingatan. Selalu macam tu. That's why adik-adik, make it as a habit, each and every time you finish up a lesson, right, allocate 10 minutes on day 2 to revisit the topic, 5 minutes on the first week after you finish it, revisit balik topic, and 2 to 4 minutes on day 2. So remember, this is the formula: 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. So insyaAllah, if you follow this, the information will retain and they will be there. So kalau tiba-tiba nak guna, tiba lecturer kata pop quiz, so you are able to do it, insyaAllah. Right? Kita cuba. Because during my study time, this is what I practice. So it does work. Right? Okay, honey. This is very important. In ODL, if you don't seek for help, we don't know that you need help. Kita tak tahu. Right? In physical class, when the lecturer can see you, our students, we can see your face, we can see your gesture, we can see how you interact with us, so we can detect, oh, there's something wrong with this student. I can help the student. But in ODL, we cannot see you. Kita tak boleh nampak you. Satu hal lah. And then if you don't reach out to us, lagi lah kita tak ada masalah. So that's why if you need help, ask for it. Seek help. Jangan segan. Jangan segan. Cari. Right? Now, if you require help, if it is needed as soon as possible, ada je masalah, terus reach out. Jangan tunggulah sampai seminggu kemudian, 30 hari kemudian, baru you cari your lecturers. Susah. Right? So I usually tell my students, so it's like this, yeah. Let's say, contoh, this is what I usually tell my students. I usually give my students task on Monday. So on Monday at 8:30, I'm going to give them tasks. These are the things that they have to do throughout the week. So biasanya saya bagi macam tu. Right? And I usually ask my students, kata, if you have any problem whatsoever, reach out to me. Bila dapat je masalah tu, terus inform saya. I think same goes to your lecturer as well. Right? Kalau contoh student reach out to me, dia kata, Puan, I give them a week daripada on Monday, so I bagi dia task sampailah Sunday. Buatlah ya. So on Sunday, tiba-tiba dia kata, Puan, I cannot do the task that you gave me. Right? I cannot do it because, jawapan dia, saya tak ada internet access. Right? Rumah saya internet access very poor. Right? So I ask them, daripada the first day ke, ataupun hari Ahad, dia kata, actually saya ada masalah daripada hari Selasa. Why do you have to wait? Right? So ada masalah, please reach out to your lecturer as soon as possible. Right? Tolong jangan simpan. Because once you tinggal, biarkan, and then jauh dari sayang. Okay? Now, if it is platform related, so let's say you're using UFuture and you're having problem. Kenapa I kata UFuture? Because saya dekat Assoc, so I go for UFuture lah. So if ada problem with UFuture, use the get help features. Biasanya dia chat with us dekat bahagian bawah. Right? Chat with the IT team. And the most important part, if you are facing problem, make sure you screen capture your browser, right, for evidence. So this will be very helpful, right, in order for the IT team to help you. So let's say lah, you tengah buat, tiba dia terus hang. Screen capture, simpan, send it to your lecturer so that they kata, okay, now I know. Right, memang ada masalah, budak ni tak main-main. Right, so they can help you out. Alright, so if it is content related, satu, ask yourself first, right? Give yourself a chance to answer your own question, right? Satu. Now, if you ask yourself, tak boleh juga, try to use glossaries, try to search for it. Tak boleh juga, ask your classmates, right? And then the most important part, kalau yang ni, saya prefer terus kepada lecturers. Cuma, adik-adik satu je. I think all lecturers are the same. If you want to ask your lecturer, one, make sure please introduce yourself first, because let's say lah, in my case, I have about 200 students that I have to, I have to teach. I have 200 students this semester. I don't save all of your numbers. If I do pun, I don't remember which class do you belong to, right? So make sure introduce yourself first and then baru bagi tahu what is your problem. So barulah boleh bantu. Kalau tidak, sukar untuk kita. Right? So again, if you require help, don't wait. Go for it. Kalau it's platform related, just go straight to the ICT. If it is content related, go straight to your lectures. Right? Satu je saya perasan ya. So myself as lecturer, kalau student nak tanya soalan, I would prefer my students to go through the material first, alright, and then they ask me. Because kalau nak kata, I'm not sure about your lecturers lah. Kalau saya, it would be sedikit kepantangan bila you datang tanya soalan, you yourself tak go through the material at all. You kosong, right? You tak go through the material, tiba-tiba you tanya kat I. So mestilah I rasa macam, they given you the materials, why didn't you go through? Right? Go through dulu materials, try, right? That's why I kata kat ni. Ask yourself first, kalau tak boleh, then baru you go through your lecturers. Sebab dalam ODL ni, diri sendiri yang kena determine, diri sendiri yang kena bantu diri sendiri sebenarnya. Right? Cuma jangan segan tanya lecturer. Jaranglah jumpa lecturer yang malas nak layan. Selalu lecturer layan kan? So, tanya ya. Alright. Okay, now continue dan ambil yang itu. Okay, most important part juga stay motivated. Sebab nak ODL ni, tipulah kata you will be motivated from week 1 till week 14. Right? There are times you akan rasa macam, oh, penatnya, I feel frustrated. Some students to the extent that you feel depressed, have anxiety. Now, I have to be frank with you. I also have high anxiety level. Yes, I do face anxiety. And from time to time, saya akan dapat that anxiety. I have difficulty with breathing. I ada migraines, excessive teruk. So, I do understand where you're at. Cuma, if you have any problem with regards to that, your health issues, please reach out to your PA. And if you have any problem with the subject matter, reach out to the lecturer. Right? Jangan simpan. Tolong jangan simpan. Right. This one, I actually stumbled across this, right? And I find it very helpful, and that's why I want to share it with you. Satu, learning is actually emotional. Your emotion actually plays a role, right? Plays a role in your studying. If you are feeling happy, you feel happy, inshallah, when you study, all right, you go through your teaching and learning process, it will be easier. But if you're depressed, or you feel sad, or you cannot concentrate, so obviously this won't work. Bacalah banyak mana sekalipun, it won't retain, right? So that's why you have to make sure that you must be emotionally accepting of things. Kalau ada masalah, terus reach out, right? Sama juga, tadi saya terbaca pasal group, right? Group work tu, yes, group work is emotionally taxing, betul. Student banyak cakap saya, Puan, rasanya kawan saya tak nampak apa-apa. Betul, group work. So, this one, please be frank, right? Bagi tahu awal. So that's why, for my class, I usually will give my students chance to rate one another. So, I minta dia bagi peer review. Right? Peer review, you bagi markah kat kawan you bagi markah kat you. So if that is the case, so nanti adalah kejujuran di situ. If you don't like your friends, kawan you tak buat apa, so betul markah tu akan tunjuk. Right? Don't study too long without a break. Yes, make sure you take breaks in between, 5 minutes break, bangun, jalan-jalan sikit, baru mak pergi kat kain ke, right? Jemur kain ke, sapu sampah, right? So take breaks, tapi janganlah the break is longer than you studying. Tak berjalan sebenarnya. Alright, expand your existing knowledge of a subject. Now, for ODL and for studying as well, bukan ODL saja. The thing is, bila kita bagi information, you don't just take the information and then you absorb it like a sponge. Tidak, right? You have to absorb it, and at the same time, you have to add in new knowledge. So, add in new knowledge, yang itu buatkan your understanding is much more richer, right? And then, ni, ada banyak isu. work in groups, right? So satu je saya perasan, in order for group works to, be a success, satu, we have to find out people yang sekepala dengan you. So that's why tadi I kata it is high time lah for you to check out what you punya learning styles punya study, right? Buat survey, find out friends yang sama dengan you, try to work in the team, see how it goes, right? So okay. Yang ini, make sure you have a good habit, a good study habit. Develop that good study habit. Kenapa? Right? So, I give you a chance, right, adik-adik. Can you please type padlet.com/Sahab/bad habits, right? Yang ni. Try to search for it. And then ask yourself, and I want you to put in my Padlet, what are your bad study habits, right? What are the study habits the habits that you usually face or you usually do and it doesn't work for you, right? Saya bagi you masa dalam 10 minit boleh? I stop sharing sekejap. So I'm going to share the link with you. So boleh cuba sekarang. Okay, so I bagi you the link there, bad study habits, alright? So click on the link, make sure you masukkan, tell me or list down, sini list down je lah, list down all of the bad habits that might hinder your success. Cuba share kat situ, saya nak tengok. So saya bagi masa, asyik dengar saya cakap bila-bila kan. In the meantime, I'm going to go through komen kat sini. Right, Alhamdulillah, Aiman kata dia boleh belajar. Right, Alia kata group assignment, yes, it is difficult. I do understand. How about this? Yeah, if you have group assignment, try to create your group WhatsApp juga, and then use tools that can measure and monitor progress for each of your group mates, because there are the tendency, right? There will be a tendency where you are going to be in the same group for different courses, right? Ada tendensi begitu kan? Contoh, you ada 4 khusus, and then satu group ni akan buat untuk 4 assignment tu. Ada tendensi begitu. So that's why I would advise try to use monitoring tools, monitoring apps. For example, you can try to use Trello or Padlet, right? So you can monitor the progress, right, for each group mate. Itu sekarang sikit lah, right? Anak buah saya bising, tapi saya sayang dia betul. Nak buat macam mana ni? Right? ODL is okay, Alhamdulillah. Saya selalu study group dengan kawan saya. Tapi kalau dia malas, saya pun malas. Itulah. Janganlah cari kawan yang malas. Carilah kawan yang rajin. Right? Macam mana supaya tak malas? Tak boleh nak tolong kan? So, macam mana tak malas? You have to change your study habit first. Right? So, baru tak malas. Lecturer saya ajar santai. Saya cakap itu. Yep. Right? So, can I see? Alhamdulillah, banyak dah bad habits ni. Let me share with you. Share. So, if that is the case, kalau tak faham, tanya. Sebab itulah dia ada perumpamaan malu bertanya sesat jalan. So, you nak sesat ke? Tak nak kan? So, please, right? Ask, jangan buat faham. Suka dengar lagu Blackpink, I also like Blackpink juga, tapi I can still do my work, so tak ada masalah. Okay, right? Should be. Tidur lambat. Right. Okay. Tak berani nak cakap, takut lecturer marah. Tak berani nak tanya, takut orang pandai saya. Okay. Now, the stigma that we have, right? The stigma that we have, bukan setakat pasal ODL pun, in class as well. Student takut nak cakap, takut nak bersuara because nanti kawan-kawan lain akan judge, right? Especially kalau, let's say, if you ask question in English, but then our English is broken and then people will laugh at you. So lantapi lah diorang. So I would say the way I stand is biarkan. So if you malu, if you don't want to ask, nanti you akan lagi sesat lah kat situ. Networking problem, networking or network, right? Cepat lapar, okay. Kalau cepat lapar, in my case, my study area, right? I have snacks, I have drinks, I have everything. Tapi janganlah bawa periuk nasi kat study area. Tak study makan. Alright, so tak kenal classmate or not? I think maybe this is new students. Okay, how about, right, you create, ask your class rep, right, ask your class rep to create a page like this. This is called a Padlet, right? So create a Padlet wall, ask your friends to, share whatever things that they want to share in the Padlet. So actually you can interact with each other, right? Feel unmotivated when lecturers don't understand student. Okay, Allah. Yes, I can understand. I think the issue when feeling unmotivated because lecturer don't understand because we don't talk to each other. That's the issue. We don't talk to each other. So how about you open up to your lecturer, tell your lecturer what is going on, right, with you, so that you can understand each other better. I am sure they are working towards making your life easier. Right. Okay, what else? Nice law. Okay. Right. Ada soalan ke yang nak cakap tanya terus? Boleh ke? Tak ada masalah. Okay, bad habit banyak sangat video kena tengok. Okay. If it is video, lecture videos, then you have to watch it. But I would advise you don't watch it in one go. Right? I'm sure your lecturers, they can prepare videos in small chunks. Right? Allocate. Let's say today I'm going to watch these 2 videos first. You go through the video and then jot down all the important notes and then do your study, do your research. And then the next day you're going to continue with the next videos as well. So if you do that, you tak overwhelm yourself, tak rasa penat. Because if not, I myself, kalau you tengok video kat YouTube, once you tengok one video YouTube and then you continue sampai akhir, to the extent that one point you dah jadi sangat-sangat penat. Same goes. Kalau tengok video Blackpink pun you boleh penat, apatah lagi tengok video lecturer. Right? So I have to be frank with that. So try to allocate time. Right, today I nak baca these 2, I nak go through these 2 videos. Next day I'm going to go through other videos. So tak adalah penat sangat. Right, I can study alone. Okay. So if you can study at night, then by all means, silakan study at night. Tak ada issue. Right. Lecturer annoyed. Lecturer will be annoyed if, I bagi tahu from lecturer standpoint, lecturers will be annoyed if they already informed you the instruction clearly in the form of video, they already informed you in WhatsApp, but then you ask the same thing all over again. Tu dia jadi annoyed sedikit. Like usually we are going to attend. Usually. Okay. Banyak ni. So nanti I kena share dengan your lecturers lah. Tengok. Don't worry, it's anonymous, so nobody knows who is talking about who, right? Feel free to continue jawab kat sini. So at the same time, I'm going to go through it. Kena buat kerja rumah? Yes, you still have to. Sebab kalau tidak, my mom naik angin. Betul? So you still have to do your work. So that's why I mentioned earlier. So when you do your schedule, your scheduling, make sure you have breaks in between. Contoh, you have class from 8 till 10. Jarang lecturer ambil class from 8 to 10. Biasanya dia akan ambil from, let's say, from 8:30 till 9:15 contoh. So you have time, ada break. So pergilah tolong mak, masuk kain ke, alright, jemur kain ke, sapu rumah ke. So those are breaks that in between. So it's a win-win situation. You're happy, your mom is happy, so your lecturer is also happy, right? Kadang-kadang rajin tapi mampu bertahan sekejap je. Yes, I do understand that. Right? Okay, banyak sebenarnya ni. Okay. Study from morning to midnight. Oh, okay, please don't. Right? Don't study in one go. Right? Usually you're studying, you have to allocate about like 2 hours max for one time, and then you have to take breaks. Quite long break, macam 15 minutes to 10 minutes break. Jangan sesekali you sit from 8 up until 12 midnight. Oh, tak normal. don't do that, right? Because I have tried it before, right? It doesn't work. Yes, it worked at one period of time. So I semangat sampai seminggu saja, and then I burn out. Penat gila. I do understand that. Please do not do that. Allocate time. That's why in ODL, it is very important for you to schedule your work, right? Siapkan ada schedule, bila you rehat, bila you study, bila you ada kelas, bila nak tolong mak, bila nak untuk masa your me time. So that one, right? Okay, banyak. Buat kerja last minute, yes. In ODL, you cannot afford to procrastinate. Saya bilang ya. In ODL, you cannot afford to procrastinate. Why? Because once you start procrastination, right, you will miss out a lot of things. You cannot do that, right? You cannot afford to do that. So in ODL, make sure kalau lecturer kata, okay, this week you have to study this part of it. Make sure you try and cover that part within that specified time period. Because if not, kalau you tunggu, it defeat the purpose of studying. So nanti sia-sia je lah dia belajar, terus diingat-ingatkan. Right? Okay, so I rasa tak boleh ikut nak tengok satu-satu. So I'm going to stop sharing this one. But if you still have ada perkara yang bukan di hati, you nak kongsi-kongsi lah. Right? Jenis tepat kena ganggu if ada orang tegur dan mula nak memborak sampai nak bekerja. Yes, that is me as well. Right? Okay, so let's continue. Sikit lagi nak habis. Alright. Okay, study habits. So study habits, please ask yourself this question. Alright. Satu, check your tasks, right? What are your study habits? Your current study habit, does it work? Are you happy with your current study habit? Now, if you see that, okay, this is my current study habit and it doesn't work, right? I still dapat my current dah. So you know that it doesn't work for you, so you have to change your study habits. Nak kena ubah. So tadi yang ada soalan dia kata saya malas, macam mana elakkan malas, that is how you do it. Study yourself, check yourself out, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and work towards your strength and try to minimize your weakness, right? This is how to build a good habit, and this is what I practice. Inshallah, if you practice as well, dia membantu. Right, first, jot down all of your bad habits. Yang ni, I like to jot down things, right? That's one thing that I practice daripada saya belajar sampailah sekarang. I will jot down all the things, the bad habits, or the things that actually, bukan bad habits lah, the things that might hinder my concentration. Sometimes kan, kadang tak you bangun pagi, tiba-tiba ada satu lagu melekat kat kepala you. And dia tak boleh keluar daripada kepala you sampai petang. Contoh lah kan, lagu Blackpink melekat kat kepala, right? So, to the extent that whatever things that you do, benda tu melekat je kat kepala. Even you watch the video yang lecturer bagi, the teaching video pun tak boleh masuk because lagu tu ada kat kepala. So please, jot it down. Okay, jot down lagu tu and then you strike it. Usually it works for me. So hopefully it works for you as well, right? So yang ni jot down and strike it, right? Maintain your pace, right? Maintain. Bukan bulan you mesti istiqamah. Istiqamah dalam kerja. Don't go too hard on yourself. Maksudnya, for example, you macam tadi kan, one of your friends kata, daripada pagi sampai malam, dia duduk study sampai migrate. Don't, right? Do not do that. You're still young, you will burn out easily kalau macam tu, right? Jangan burn out, ya. So maintain your pace, start from, contoh, you kata, okay, saya akan study 8 till 10, and then I break 10 to 12, lepas semayang Zuhur nanti, kedua I continue lagi. So those, maintain your pace, right? So if you do that, insyaAllah, you'll be good to go. 17 weeks, right, of your semester will be a breeze, kalau you are doing, right? Give affirmation to yourself, right? I myself have this habit, saya suka cakap dengan diri saya sendiri. Usually when I do my work, especially when I'm alone, ni masalah dia bila ODL ni untuk orang yang macam saya, which I love to talk and I like to talk to people, right? So it's quite difficult for me when especially I even cakap my student, I rindu kat my student because I want to see them, I want to talk to them, you know, I want to have that eye-to-eye conversation. So I usually give affirmation to myself. sayangi diri sendiri ya. Sometimes when I do things and then I dapat block kan, mental block sekejap, kata, kenapa? So tell yourself, okay, insyaAllah, boleh Suhaidah, tenang, boleh buat. So same goes to you. Talk to yourself, right? Jangan cakap seorang sampai to the extent bermasalah. Like, talk to yourself, give good positive affirmation. Don't worry, sekejap je, pergi rehat sekejap, come back. You talk to yourself, yeah? So this one, it is really helpful to me. So hopefully it is helpful to you as well. Alright? This one, tell someone what you are going to do. In my case, I usually tell my husband. So apa yang saya tengah buat, whatever things is happening to me, I will tell my husband. So in your case, you can tell your colleagues, you can tell your parents, you can tell your loved ones, right? Tell them what you are going to do and ask them for support. Right? So what I did, I usually tell my husband, okay, today I ada kerja yang I kena buat, I need to do it. So my husband is going to remind me. Kalau I tengah tengok TV lama-lama, kata, baby, nak buat kerja. So same goes, right? Tell your loved ones lah. Biasanya kalau boyfriend, girlfriend, membantu kan, hilang tujuan. Alright? Try to remove temptations. Right? Try. I know it's not easy. It's easier said than done. Yes, try to remove temptations. And don't be too hard on yourself. Yes, there are instances where students kata dengan saya, when I cannot go dengan ODL at all. Saya harap next semester tak ada ODL lagi. Unfortunately, it happens again. So, ada yang menangis, dia kata, I cannot. It turned out they are being too hard on themselves. Kalau perasan, I like to go through UITM punya confession and I can see students punya confession a lot. And from time to time, I also commented lah mana yang I believe bantu. But what I can see in the confession, ramai yang kata they cannot go with ODL. They feel that bila ODL ni dia akan dapat result yang rendah. Actually, last semester, my students dapat banyak result yang bagus-bagus. Right? Surprisingly, I kata, even though you don't like ODL, you can actually ace your course sebenarnya. Right? Yang mana tak boleh tu sebabnya they didn't commit. Tak commit sebab dia tak maintain their course. Awal-awal semangat, kemudian dah hilang ingatan. So that's why please, don't be too hard on yourself. Make sure don't burn out. Try not to burn out. Try to maintain this. Right? Alright. So before I end, I'm going to share with you this quote that I did for. So this is what I stand for and it works for me. Yeah? So satu, adik-adik, wake up with determination and go to bed with satisfaction. Because I'm not sure about you, in my case, sometimes if I have things in my mind, right, I tidur pun benda tu dalam kepala tak sakit. Tak boleh hilang, right? So that's why I make it as a habit. When I wake up in the morning, I just set things that I have to do. I jot it down. So as I mentioned tadi, jot it down. These are the things that I'm going to do, right? And then when I dah siap tu, I strike through all the things yang dah buat. When I go to bed, I feel satisfied because I have, achieved my objective, my goal on that day. Right? Which I hope that is the same goes to you as well. Right? Now, yes, ODL, it is not easy, right? Not everyone loves ODL. Some students find it ODL is a breeze. Some students might not. Yes, there are many variables to take into consideration. But what I can say here is you are not alone, right? You are not alone. So if you have any problems, any difficulties, please reach out to your colleagues, reach out to your lecturers, reach out to your PAs. We are more than willing to help. Sebenarnya tak ada pensyarah yang nak student dia fail. There's no such thing. Kalau boleh nak semua orang lulus. Kalau boleh. Right? So adik-adik, be positive. This is just a phase, inshallah. Once COVID-19 went away, so we are going to go back to normal. And inshallah, right? Inshallah, everything is going to be A-okay. Right? So, cukup pukul 4. So, is there any other question? You can just unmute your microphone and just ask me directly. Sambil-sambil tu, I go to the tablet, ya.
Assalamualaikum.
Ada soalan, Zek?
Mana Hussein? Nak tanya je. Berkenaan ODL ni kan, Tak tahu ni, saya tak related, cuma saya tanya ODL ni kemungkinan tak diteruskan semester hadapan pula, semester 5? Ya semester hadapan lah, tahun depan.
Okay. As of now, kita tak ada lagi apa-apa mengenai maklumat mengenai itu. Sebab whatever it is, it depends on the situation, right? Sebab to be honest, we don't expect this semester to be 100% ODL juga, because UiTM mungkin nak start, student masuk and can continue as usual. But unfortunately, since the COVID-19 belum subside lagi and the cases spike, so kita terpaksa buat ODL lagi semula. So, wallahu alam, buat masa ini, we go for whatever things happen, kita akan move towards that. Sekarang ni masih ODL, next semester insyaAllah kita tidak ada ODL lagi, but depending on the situation. Saya tak boleh nak kata black and white, tak ada. Okay? Saya faham, masa mula-mula ramai yang bersingkan. So yes. FKE dah ada aircon ke belum? Dr. Norfishah, jangan tanya FKE dah ada aircon ke?
Okay, ada aircon ke? Alahai, itulah isu. They on and off. And then when kan MCO kan, aircon lagi lambat lah. Tak baik-baik.
Itulah, doa lah. Habis the MCO, bila masuk balik fakulti, aircon semua done. Ready.
Amin.
Amin.
Aircon isu lah.
Tapi betul, aircon memainkan peranan ya dalam belajar.
Yalah. Everybody lah, lecturers bersama, they work in. Yeah.
Okay, kalau single kena ada partner ke? Tak perlu ada partner pun. Kalau single, bagi tahu je lah kawan you. So, you must have your friends kan? Atau your family ke, bagi tahu. Right? Janganlah kurang motivasi tanpa seseorang. Okay.
Puan Siti, ni saya tengok ada dekat chat ni, ada kata Google Meet 2 jam. I call.
Phone sampai.
That's very long.
Yeah. Okay.
Dear student, Puan Siti, sebab saya daripada FKE, saya nak kena beritahu dengan student ni. Kalau Dr. Farid ada di sini, dia pun terperanjat. Student, please be brave to tell your lecturers not more than 1 hour Google Meet. Ke apa-apa yang online video kan. Kalau you go meet, not more. Tell your lecturer to do that, to stop. Memang, yes. Kalau ikutkan the lecturers, you're supposed to go on only maximum of 1 hour.
Sebab saya kurang motivasi tanpa seseorang. Apa benda?
Okay. Yes, 2 hours is too long sebenarnya.
Lecturer ikut schedule kelas.
Oh ya ke? Okay.
Kan 2 jam.
Yang ni kena minta FKA terus ni.
Okay. They want to stop. It's okay. They can stop now. Some of them is okay. Ya, dia orang kata dah too long. Orang dah panas.
Okay, boleh.
Nanti I will share the register, untuk register form punya link. I akan register dekat Najwa nanti. Okay. No problem. It's only 2 hours. Yeah.
Video 2 hours. Yes, lecture video memang kadang panjang. So you just download it. Tak payah you tengok serentak 2 jam tu. You can just, separate lah. Berhenti sekejap and then continue. Right? Okay. Right. So I do understand devices, masalah. Alright. So if you have any problems, again, as I mentioned, reach out to your lecturers. Kalau ada isu dengan kena marah lecturer, kalau tidak. Alright. Again, as I mentioned tadi, if you have any issues with regards to the platform, kalau lecturer you guna your future, you boleh terus direct kepada ICT. We are more than willing to help you, insyaAllah. Right? Okay, Dr. Norfishah, I think I send it back to you.
Ya. Jap nak kata kat dia orang, kita akan share the registration form. Dah ada kat situ, dah release. Registration link, please register. Ada evaluation form dekat situ ya. Please do that. Thank you so much, Puan Siti, for that. Very motivating presentation, excellent presentation. I hope the student will get something from this and for them to move forward. Do not burn out, please. Yeah, do not burn out. You always have your PA, you always have your KP, and always discuss with your lecturer. Do not be afraid of them. Yeah. So jangan pernah complain. It's already too long this session, so we're going to stop now. Please register. Rasanya tak ada Q&A session. I'm going to stop here. But then, as usual, before we end this session, let us recite surah Al-As dan juga tasbih kafarah to seek for pardon and forgiveness from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Alright. So best of luck semua.
Best of luck to everybody. Thank you so much. Siti jangan keluar lagi ya.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Student dah gitu dah. Thank you so much ya.
Tahu, faham.
Ya,
Okay.
some of them have to go. Ataupun siapa yang really can stay here nak tanya lagi Siti, you can do so. Because the session should end dalam 4:15 macam tu sebenarnya.
Make sure you isi registration.
Yeah, fill in the registration form. Yes. I baru perasan tadi dekat chat dia kata dia punya bateri dah panas. Dia kata session ni too long. Ya.
Madam.
Ya.
Dekat register tu, dia yang kat bahagian email dia kena tulis nombor. Salah format.
Okay, never mind. No need, just letak je apa-apa je. Because kalau you tak buat, dia tak boleh go to the next. Letak je apa-apa.
Okay, thank you madam.
Yeah.
Dia letak nombor telefon.
Letak telefon.
I see. Okay. Okay lah, put your phone number in case we want to contact you back. Put your phone number. Yeah. Group is your class. Group is your class. Program is EE202 or EE241. Hopefully this session fruitful to everyone ya. Siti pun penat juga, lama you present. 2 jam. Thank you so much ya Siti. I boleh tengok dia kata burn out tadi dia punya bateri ada baru I perasan. This session yang dia dah tak boleh tunggu.
Tapi kalau student ada kelas for 2 hours so rasa boleh ikut. Please.
Some of them here. I thought that I want to conclude your presentation just now because you talk about to have smart goals. Kan, student kena take up this point lah. To ada group study, find friends for group study. Kan? And then jangan malas lah. Of course tak boleh kerja tu see on it. Kan? Betul tak? You have those. You have your TDA, you have your KP, you have your PA, you have your lecturers. Go for help. Ask help on them. And just don't burn out.
I pun risau burn out tu sebenarnya.
Ya, I dengar burn out tu, I pun risau. Because I start with my student kan, I say, wow, memang kita go very santai dengan student sebab bila ODL kan, kita tak boleh lah really push on them too much. But then some of the lecturers, okay, you have to request from your lecturer on the video presentation, video slides. Minta yang tu, video, audio, so you boleh download and you boleh tengok banyak kali. Request that from your lecturers. So some of the lecturers positif, dia tak bagi benda-benda ni. Dia buat online teaching. Dia tak share video or audio presentation slides tu dan PowerPoint tu. Aku baru tahu yesterday bila I minta material nak upload dekat MOOC. They don't have that. Student, you have the right to request that from your instructor, from your lecturer. Request minta video or audio presentation. So you boleh tengok balik banyak kali ulang and of course you get it. Lepas 3-4 kali then you get it. Ada minta dia bagi example tunjuk kat your slides.
Cuma I personally the key here is sebenarnya ada student kata dia takut lecturer annoyed, malah dengan dia orang bila banyak tanya. Memang I faham. Kita pun pernah jadi student juga kan nak message lecturer takut kan. Cuma I personally macam ni lah. Rather than beramai-ramai message dia, how about you discuss with your class rep, so class rep yang actually direct kepada pensyarah tersebut. I am sure pensyarah you will understand.
Yes, positive is right about this because sometimes they request repetitive things, the students.
Yes.
You are positive. Yes. Right. Betul. Get one right. Yes.
Ni ada student kata when tak masuk on time, mak panggil, you faham. Ada student saya siap tengah kopek bawah, tengah kelas. Ya je, tak apa. Tak ada masalah.
Dah boleh
ini
live
yang
ke?
Ya?
Dah boleh live ke?
Boleh.
Dah boleh. Ya,
Okay,
session.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you madam.
Alright.
Share laushe.
Thank you, madam.
Share.
Thank you madam.
Beramai-ramai tu kat situ.
Thank you madam.
Thank you, madam.
Best of luck guys.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Some of them SEM 1 dengan SEM 3 kan, they are so anxious nak masuk campus. Ya.
I'm currently teaching
Assalamualaikum
semester.
madam. Saya ada soalan.
Salam. Sila.
Kawan saya ni dia ada masalah sikit bila dia stres ataupun dia background macam bising sikit.
Tak apa.
Dia stres ataupun dia macam dia tend to hentak kepala dia dekat meja ataupun pintu ataupun yang tak menyakitkan sangat lah, kalau macam dinding tu dah sakit kan. So bila dia buat macam tu, dia kata dia stres dia hilang. So macam mana benda tu sebenarnya bagus ataupun tak bagus? So apa yang boleh saya tolong?
Okay, satu je. Right, yang ni dah kira psikologi punya bahagian ni. But satu je, whatever it is, just like kalau kata positive affirmation to yourself. Saya tak pernah cuba untuk menyakitkan diri. Sebab once you dah menyakitkan diri, then it's totally different thing lah. Dalam Islam pun kata kita jangan sakitkan diri kita sendiri kan. Kenapa kita nak mencederakan diri? So macam ni lah. Kalau ada kawan yang begitu, right, please tell your PA benda ni so that your PA is going to inform to your yang boleh conduct benda ni. Sebab biasanya kalau case-case macam ni kita akan channelkan kepada counselor.
Tak boleh nak dengar.
Boleh? Tak boleh dengar?
Baik madam, terima kasih.
Tolong sampaikan kepada PA you. Jangan simpan, bagi tahu PA. Kadang-kadang kawan tu segan nak bagi tahu kan. Bagi tahu you bagi tahu bagi pihak. Kata this is the issue that your friend is having. Right? And then PA is going to help. Sebab saya pun ada juga student yang bermasalah begitu. Tapi kita sebagai pensyarah pun we don't have the right knowledge untuk to attend to this kind of issues kan. Memang kita akan direct kepada counselor supaya elakkan perkara yang lebih teruk lah. Yes, please go. Puan Ina dah bagi tahu lah. Go to someone yang professional. Jangan takut, betul. Sebenarnya sepanjang ODL ni, pihak counselling, counselor UiTM, open up dia punya dia ada session untuk student-student. So please reach out to them. Jangan segan. Right?
Thank you madam.
Okay.
Takut dengar.
Yes. Betul-betul. Saya
fakulti you macam mana madam? Puan Siti.
My faculty, my students lah, ada yang hilang tu maksudnya hilang macam we cannot trace lah. But then bila kita dah go through, sebab kita tak jumpa lagi student yang macam ni lah. Yang ada pun banyak yang missing because dia tak boleh nak go forth dengan ODL. But what we usually did is kita akan panggil dia, kita akan terus direct kepada counselor, akan terus direct students lah, contact student tu sendiri. Because things macam-macam ni memang kita sebagai pensyarah pun kita tak ada that knowledge kan. So better. Kesian dekat lecturer sebab dia orang nak buat demo calculation pada limited. Okay. Yes.
Doktor.
Salam.
Recorded video ni nanti boleh dapatkan kat mana?
Nanti tunggu Dr. Norfishah jawab
Ya tak? Anxiety.
Saya ada masalah terlampau nervous sampai sejuk tangan. Tak tahu nak handle. Betul.
Anxiety.
Betul, anxiety. Yes. Actually, I have the same thing sebenarnya. I have to be frank lah yang mana yang tinggal kat sini kan. So actually, the first week of PKP tu memang I have very high anxiety to the extent that I kena pergi klinik makan ubat semua. But then I found out that macam sebab anxiety ni macam ni dia to the extent that you cannot do anything. Kan kita tak boleh nak buat kerja, you rasa very fatigue, pening kepala, migraine, I to the extent that I don't tak macam tu kan. Support system is very, very, very important, right? That's why I mentioned tadi, please reach out to your friends. Reach out, jangan tinggal seseorang. And kawan-kawan juga memainkan peranan. Kalau you perasan ada kawan you yang tertinggal macam, mana dia ni? Dah lama tak jumpa. So, try to panggil dia. Alright? Kalau tak jumpa, panggil dia. So that dia feel that dia tak left out. Panggil tu. Alright? Tolong. Let's help each other out. Tu ada hello doctor. So
Please, I have shared my phone number. Please contact me, message me, telegram me, whatever. I will try because this issue cakap lah bila kat sini kan, tapi adalah masalah.
Betul. Saya concern sangat. So, tapi kita pun limited kan.
So siapa yang ada issue problem can contact me.
Yang lain-lain tak nak leave ke? Ramai lagi ni ha? 9 orang.
Saya tunggu kalau dia orang ada lagi apa-apa nak tanya Puan Siti.
Okay, boleh.
Macam dah Dian senyap dah ni.
Dia tak rasa dah habis tu.
Nombor PA kat student portal kat mana ya? Nombor PA, alamak. Nombor PA kena check from Sings. Tapi tak boleh access from outside. Macam mana
Rasanya kalau in my faculty kami minta ni KPP, dia akan release the list nama kelas dengan PA dan nombor telefon. So maybe
saya pegang kat sini tanya PPP.
Kita boleh minta KPP untuk
list down PA punya list phone number.
Okay, kalau lecturer bagi video untuk student saja selama ni, dia tak buat online teaching macam mana ya? Okay, yes, there are students yang go for asynchronous. Asynchronous maksudnya dia bagi the materials and then you have to go through. But usually jarang kot dia just bagi video tanpa tracking ke, tanpa ada any discussion. How about, right, kalau case macam ni, saya nak buat okay, macam ni. So you go through the materials and then dekat yang comment section tu try to create a discussion session dekat situ. I'm sure your lecturer will be aware on it and then dia akan bagi comment juga. Ataupun you tanya direct dalam group WhatsApp.
Discuss kat group tu kan?
Ya. Please do.
Kadang-kadang lecturer ni dia ingat dah sufficient ni dia punya material. Dia nak kena bagi everything kat situ kan. So student nak kena play the role to aktifkan lecturer tu pula. Saya nampak gaya. Kan? Cerita bagaimana dia ingat kita dah cukup.
Nur Nabila, your anxiety tu please reach out to someone, right? Kalau perlu jumpa doktor, jumpalah. Please do. Jangan biarkan. Yes, I really hope that you can do that as well. Rasa tak ada soalan lain kot ni.
Rasa dah okey lah kot Pak. Selesai lah. Boleh lah kita tutup sesi kita ni ya. Ada lagi?
Rasa
ada lagi. Baru sem 1.
Okey. Baru sangat ni. Baru minggu baru masuk minggu ketiga. Baru sangat. Okay, yang baru masuk semua ni, okay, saya perasan juga, I actually have this discussion with my students pagi tadi. We have a class and my student baru sangat masuk, right? So we actually made a discussion. I opened up with my students, they opened up to me, dia kata, Puan, kita orang dah lah tak kenal kawan-kawan tau. Dia punya jawapan, tak kenal kawan-kawan. Dia kata ODL ni, sorry my language, dia kata sucks. Dia kata macam tu. ODL sucks. Dia kata dia tak boleh. So when we did a discussion, dia kata dia rasa macam nak senang kita macam kurang kasih sayang. Sebab dia tak jumpa the lecturer, they don't have the feeling of being a university student. Satu. Right? Satu yang I nampak yang student saya ni buat, and minggu ketiga ni saya nampak lah dia orang punya tu di mana they really go for discussion dekat dalam WhatsApp group. Right? So dalam WhatsApp group tu dia actually borak-borak, you know, walaupun tak pernah jumpa, dia actually borak-borak dekat dalam WhatsApp group tu sendiri. So why not you do the same as well? So masa tu lah kita boleh berkenalkan dalam. So memang tak boleh nak katakan soal. You guys are in the semester yang agak unik. Baru masuk dah jadi macam ni. Okay. Skor Fazirul, okay ya. Cuba dulu bertahan, this is your baru minggu ketiga. Minggu ketiga, baru sangat.
Fazirul tadi, saya dah ambil nama dia ni. Fazirul Shah.
Yes, Azburil, yes. Kalau kawan ada anxiety, yes. Tak ada lah. Tak ada. Yes. Kena pantau.
Puan Siti dah recover lah sekarang from anxiety.
Yes, I'm still working on it. From time to time dia akan ada. So that's why I try to avoid nak keluar time-time PKP ni, because every time I keluar je, I balik rumah, then I suddenly feel macam rasa demam lah. Rasa macam-macam. Dia jadi macam mata dah macam kita bertenang kan. Sebab I tak boleh nak. So that's why I try my level best. That's why I jenis people person, and then jadi macam ni lagi lah dia stress kan. So that's why lah. I'm still working on it. Alright. Sama juga. If you face this thing, this problem, don't be shy, because you bukan seorang. You tak bukan seorang.
Okay, Puan Siti, we end this session lah ya. Sebab kita ada host yang menunggu kita. Terus dia ni under group Dr. Tin lah tu.
Yes.
They're helping me on this one. Ya, Puan Siti, thank you so much. Kita ada lagi plan program nak buat untuk student. Macam mana dia orang nak prepare untuk dia orang punya assessment and all this lah. Yang ni sekarang ni macam dia nak guideline untuk dia nak belajar. Nak prepare for dia punya studies. Tapi the next one I plan nak buat untuk macam mana dia nak prepare for exam.
Yang tu boleh jemput ni lah, Dr. Syamsul ada.
Dr. Syamsul ada. Itulah nanti I tak buat lagi dia punya paperwork. Siap nanti. Get the whatever yang boleh bagilah ceramah on this one. So positif, terima kasih banyak-banyak. Kacau you waktu tak kira. Baru I tahu dia anxiety, so now I have to put control on that.
Sebenarnya saya lagi suka orang contact I. Nanti I edit balik lah.
Thank you so much Positif. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah.
Okay everyone, bye-bye.
Bye-bye everyone here.
Thank you Paulina.
Thank you host kita Paulina.
Okay, no problem.
Alright.